I'm not a fan of hers. I wish a lot of luck to Harry, because he's going to need it.
But what I saw tonight was somebody who was totally unself-aware. I mean, completely unaware of how she sounded.
No, they're so racist. They wanted to know how brown the baby was gonna be. They're so racist. They wanted to know how brown the baby's gonna be. I'm like, that's not racist. Because even black people want to know.
We're gonna have to talk about the Kris Jenner party too.
Okay, well, I want to know your thoughts on Meghan and Harry not only being there, but then asking for the photos of them to be deleted.
Because they don't want people to feel that they're hobnobbing with the Kardashians. Like,
Right, but so don't go.
It's strange to me because it's like, you have that life and you chose to move to LA.
All very distasteful, Piers. I was totally bored by the whining.
For trying to trash the royal family's reputation and dragging them below even what the Kardashians
her, and credit to her, she found someone that is dumber than her. And that's the truth, is that Harry's just not a very smart person. And if there's one thing that this book definitely is not, it's a good advertisement for Eton, right? I mean, if I'm thinking about whether or not I want to send my son Eton, I'm telling you, time to socially climb. And for her, Harry was just an entry ticket into all of those circles. Unfortunately, she found someone. She's not very intelligent. She's not very talented. Nobody in America was watching Suits. She was an actress that was living in Canada. And
welcome back to the channel. Today, we're getting into the celebrity names that have publicly taken shots at Meghan Markle. Whether it was a clear dig, a blunt opinion, or one of those awkward moments that had people instantly talking. Some of these names may surprise you, and some absolutely won't. Kelly Rowland might seem like a random place to start, but her name got pulled into the Meghan conversation after what looked like an innocent mix-up that still caused a stir. In an interview with Hello magazine in October 2023, Kelly spoke warmly about meeting Meghan at Beyoncé's Renaissance tour in Los Angeles on September 4th. She described Meghan as cool, down-to-earth, and warm, and on the surface it sounded sweet enough. But then came the twist. People quickly pointed out that Kelly and Meghan appeared to have met years earlier, back in 2014, based on an old post from Meghan's former lifestyle blog.
Nobody set out to destroy you. You destroyed yourselves in this country with your ludicrous, hypocritical behaviour.
The Tig, showing them together during New York Fashion Week. That discovery made Kelly's first meeting story look a little shaky, even if it was probably just an honest memory slip. Still, the internet noticed, and once the internet notices something, it does not let go. Even with that awkward detail hanging in the air, Kelly kept speaking positively about Meghan and even said she had a regal energy long before she ever entered royal life. So this one felt less like a direct attack and more like accidental shade that people ran wild with online. But in Meghan's world, even a small mismatch can turn into a whole headline fast. Then there's Piers Morgan, and this one is no accident at all. He has easily been one of Meghan's fiercest public critics for years, and he has never tried to hide it. From columns to TV appearances, Piers has gone after Meghan again and again, arguing that she gets special treatment while still throwing accusations at the royal family without enough pushback. One of his harshest attacks came after Meghan's appearance on the Ellen DeGeneres show, which he blasted as vomit-inducing in his newspaper column. That reaction said everything about where he stood. Piers argued that Meghan continues to benefit from her royal title, build her celebrity profile, and make money from that status, all while no longer doing royal duties. In his view, that is the double standard that keeps making him furious.
Because I had to leave my show, Good Morning Britain, you may remember, for casting doubt over the allegations of racism and the denial of treatment for mental health issues that Meghan Markle said she was denied by Buckingham Palace. Interestingly, in his 420-word or page or so book, his own story.
Critics who agree with Piers say Meghan has turned every appearance into brand building and keeps using global attention to strengthen her image. Supporters, of course, see it very differently, which is why the public fight around her never really cools off. The debate stays hot, the headlines keep rolling, and people are still split right down the middle. Sharon Osborne has also made her feelings loud and clear, and she has done it more than once. Much like her longtime ally Piers Morgan, Sharon has repeatedly shown little patience for Meghan's public version of events. On Piers Morgan Uncensored, she went in hard on the Harry and Meghan Netflix series and accused Meghan of always presenting herself as the victim. Sharon also mocked Meghan's story about having to curtsy to Queen Elizabeth, especially Meghan's comparison of Buckingham Palace to a cheesy medieval dinner show. That comment really rubbed Sharon the wrong way, and she made sure everyone knew it. Then in spring 2024, she doubled down again on Celebrity Big Brother, saying she believed many people were simply fed up with what they saw as constant complaining from the Sussexes. Lord Alan Sugar added even more heat when he weighed in on Meghan's past comments about mental health, and his remarks sparked serious backlash. Speaking on GB News, he questioned how Meghan's account lined up with the level of privacy and medical access available inside royal residences. His basic argument was that discreet care would have been available and handled quietly, which is why he said he found parts of the story hard to believe. That said, this topic deserves care. Full stop. Mental health struggles are real, deeply personal.
I can't imagine having so much at your fingertips and letting it all slip away, thinking every single thing that you do and say and want is so fascinating that you should be accepting awards at podiums. You're not, Mahatma Gandhi.
And should never be mocked or brushed aside for clicks or cheap shots. Whatever anyone thinks of Meghan, support matters, compassion matters, and nobody dealing with that kind of pain should ever be left feeling isolated or ignored. Bethany Frankel jumped into the drama too, and as usual, she did it in the most blunt way possible. After Meghan and Harry's Oprah interview lit up social media, Bethany responded to people defending Meghan with a cold, sharp message that instantly got attention. Her now widely repeated "Cry me a river" reaction summed up exactly how little sympathy she had for Meghan's complaints. Bethany's point was that Meghan went from game show model and lesser-known actress to palace life, global fame, a lavish wedding, and worldwide attention in a very short time. To Bethany, that made the victim narrative harder to buy. Critics on that side of the argument say Meghan's media moves have never really looked like someone trying to disappear. They say the pattern looks more like someone protecting relevance, status, and star power than someone truly stepping away from the spotlight. That is what made Bethany's comments hit so hard. She appeared to suggest that privacy was not always the main goal, and that public visibility still mattered a lot. Fair or unfair, that opinion spread fast online because it tapped into a bigger frustration many critics already had about Meghan's image and the way she manages attention. Then there's Elton John, and this situation feels way more personal than a simple celebrity opinion. Elton was not just any famous friend in Harry's orbit. He had a deep connection to Princess Diana and was once seen as someone close to Harry himself. So when cracks started showing there, people paid attention right away.
They left, they wanted privacy, but we can't define what that means. They also needed money. I think they underestimated how much they would be on their own, and they've made a lot of money, and they have a lot of money. And I think when the frustration comes in, it's just like, please let me advise you. Please, I would do anything to just advise her.
In Spare, Harry described a falling out with Elton during a stay in France before he and Meghan stepped back from royal duties. Harry linked the tension to Elton's memoir being serialised in the Daily Mail, but plenty of gossip around the story suggested the problem may have gone deeper than that. Whatever the full truth is, Harry's own account made it clear that the bond had become strained and that Shift shocked a lot of people because of Elton's long history with Diana. Rumours have swirled around that trip for a while, including talk that awkward comments may have been made behind closed doors after Harry and Meghan used Elton's private jet. Those claims remain in rumour territory, but they helped fuel the idea that the relationship cooled badly. One way or another, what once looked like a strong connection suddenly did not seem so solid anymore. Donald Trump was also very direct about Meghan, and there was nothing subtle about it. He publicly called her disrespectful to Queen Elizabeth II and repeatedly said he was never a fan of hers from the beginning. He also claimed Harry was being badly used and warned that the prince would regret how things played out. Trump went even further by saying Harry damaged his relationship with his family and caused pain to the late Queen. He also criticized Meghan for speaking out on political issues in the United States, especially after she urged members of Congress to support paid leave funding. Trump framed that as inappropriate, and his remarks made it crystal clear that he saw Meghan as someone stepping far outside the role he thought she should have stayed in. And then came Cheryl Crowe, who slipped in a jab that definitely got people talking. While being honored by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, she made a pointed remark before performing Soak Up the Sun, saying the song was for Meghan Markle, who was soaking up the sun in California while everybody else was freezing in New York City. That line landed like a slick little swipe, and people caught it immediately. What made it sting more was that Cheryl suggested she had once admired Meghan. She seemed to view Meghan as strong, independent, and someone who stood by what she claimed to believe in. That is why the remark hit with extra weight. When criticism comes from someone who once appeared supportive, it always feels messier, sharper, and way more revealing. Then things got even sharper with ET Canada host Keshia Shante, who has never exactly tiptoed around Harry and Meghan. Back in May 2021, she took aim at Harry after his comments about the First Amendment being bonkers, and she did not hide her irritation. Her point was blunt and simple. If Harry truly wanted privacy, Los Angeles was one of the last places he should be looking for it. To her, that argument just did not add up. Keshia also admitted that one thing Meghan does in interviews has always rubbed her the wrong way. Talking about one of Harry and Meghan's joint appearances, she said what weirded her out most was the way Meghan kept staring at Harry while he was speaking. She even joked about it, wondering what Meghan was looking at and whether everyone else was supposed to see it too. It was one of those comments that sounded half playful, half shady, but people definitely caught the edge in it. Aaron Foster also joined the pile-on, and his style was more mockery than diplomacy. The comedy writer and performer has a history of going after public figures online, and Meghan was one of his targets. Back in November 2017, he posted an old photo of Meghan from her Deal or No Deal days and captioned it, "Never forget." Then he followed that with another image of Meghan holding a briefcase, this time joking that it was filled with "my plans to be famous." That post was clearly meant to sting, and it landed exactly like that. The message behind those posts was obvious. Aaron was pushing the idea that Meghan had always been chasing fame and status long before royal life ever entered the picture. Whether people agreed or not, the tone was loud, smug, and impossible to miss. It was the kind of jab designed to reduce a whole career into one snarky internet punchline. Megyn Kelly was just as blunt, and maybe even colder. When reacting to Harry and Meghan's Oprah interview, she made it clear she had no sympathy for them at all. She took to social media and blasted the interview, saying the couple acted as if no one in royal history had ever dealt with bad press before. In her eyes, that claim was way too dramatic, and she was not buying it for a second. Her response got attention fast because of how sharp it was. "Give me a break," she snapped, basically accusing Harry and Meghan of drowning in their own victimhood while living lives of extreme privilege. And when the conversation kept going on Good Morning Britain, Meghan doubled down even more. She said Meghan seemed completely unaware of how her comments to Oprah would sound to ordinary people, and argued that most viewers would see the complaints as distant, elite, and impossible to relate to. That is what made Megyn Kelly's reaction stand out so much. She was not speaking like someone giving the couple the benefit of the doubt. She was speaking like someone who felt the whole performance had been wildly out of touch from the start. No soft landing, no careful wording, no cushion at all. Chrissy Swan also made her feelings known, and she did it in a way that opened the floodgates online. She publicly shared on Facebook that she could never warm to Meghan, saying she felt Meghan was always playing a part. In Chrissy's view, the humility did not feel natural. It felt acted, polished, and carefully staged for an audience. That post hit a nerve fast. What started as one opinion quickly turned into a pile-on, with hundreds of commenters jumping in to agree and back her judgment. It became one more example of how criticism of Meghan often spreads fast once someone says the quiet part out loud. The reaction was messy, loud, and very online. Then came Noel Gallagher, and this one had its own wild energy. In 2024, people were stunned when Noel and Liam Gallagher finally agreed to reunite for an Oasis tour after years of public feuding. But before that reunion, Noel was still doing what Noel does best, taking swipes at just about everybody. In a 2021 interview with The Sun, he took a detour from attacking Liam and started unloading on Prince Harry instead. Noel compared his feud with Liam to the rift between William and Harry, joking that he was basically the William of the Gallagher family. Then he went harder, accusing Harry of constantly talking too much and airing family drama in public. He also claimed Harry's behaviour was being driven by his wife and added a line about Americans that only made the backlash bigger. It was messy, loud, and exactly the kind of quote that keeps tabloids fed for days. Chris Rock was another name people did not expect to hear in this conversation, but once he spoke, the reaction was huge. In his live stand-up special Selective Outrage, he mocked Meghan's comments about concerns over how dark Archie's skin might be. Meghan had shared that allegation during the Oprah interview, and Chris Rock made it clear he saw the moment very differently. He told the audience, "That's not racism. Even black families talk about how brown a baby might be." That line got a big laugh from the crowd, and from there, he kept going. Chris argued that Meghan was leaning too hard into the victim angle and joked that she seemed nice, but always complaining. Then he pushed even further, questioning how shocked she could really be after marrying into such an old institution. Chris Rock also mocked the idea of surprise by calling the royal family the original racists, which made his whole point even clearer. He was saying Meghan should have known what kind of world she was stepping into. A lot of people found the bit funny, while others felt he completely dismissed a serious issue. Either way, the clip spread fast, and his comments became one of the most talked about celebrity reactions to Meghan's claims. Queen Camilla is another figure whose reported doubts about Meghan have followed this story for years. According to royal author Tom Bower in Revenge, Meghan, Harry, and the war between the Windsors, concerns about Meghan were allegedly there long before the marriage fully settled into palace life. Bower wrote that Camilla questioned whether Meghan could truly leave behind her independence, public identity, and career ambitions for the kind of lifelong duty royal life demands. In that version of events, Camilla reportedly felt Meghan showed disrespect early on and was not especially open to guidance. As time passed and Harry and Meghan left royal duties in 2020, those doubts were said to harden even more. Reports circulated that Camilla used an unflattering nickname for Meghan, one meant to hint at trouble, chaos, and drama following close behind. Whether every detail is true or not, the picture being painted was clear. This relationship was rocky from the start. People close to the royal conversation have long claimed the tension ran both ways. Camilla was reportedly seen as skeptical of Meghan's motives, while Meghan was said to have strongly disliked Camilla as well. Over time, the distance only grew until the two sides seemed to be moving on completely separate tracks, with no real trust left between them. It became less of a simple personality clash and more like a full breakdown in chemistry. And then there's Katie Hopkins, whose attacks were some of the harshest and most aggressive of them all. The British media personality built a reputation on shock tactics and inflammatory commentary, and Meghan became one of her favourite targets. Hopkins repeatedly mocked the Duchess in public, even dressing up as her to parody one of her interviews. Her conduct drew widespread criticism for a reason, and she was eventually banned from Twitter for hateful behaviour. According to reports, Hopkins later appeared in a documentary about Meghan and kept pushing the same hostile line. She called Meghan the biggest hypocrite and went after her appearance and fashion in a way many people found petty and over the top. When Harry and Meghan announced they were stepping back from senior royal duties, Hopkins jumped on that too without wasting a second. By that point, it was obvious this was not fair criticism anymore. It had become a relentless campaign of personal hostility, and even many critics of Meghan saw that line being crossed. The Duchess later popped up in a video talking all about the wedding, and for Meghan Markle's critics, that moment said a whole lot. To them, it looked like Meghan was once again right in the middle of the spotlight, exactly where they believe she likes to be. In their eyes, this was classic Meghan from the jump, and they say the warning signs were there from day one. A lot of critics have long argued that Meghan always seemed drawn to fame, attention, and celebrity life in a way that stood out fast. Fair or not, That image followed her straight into royal life and only got louder with every interview, every headline, and every polished public moment. Supporters call it confidence. Critics call it a non-stop chase for the spotlight. Jeremy Clarkson was one of the biggest names to jump into that storm, and he did it in a way that blew up instantly. In a Sun column, the former Top Gear host used language about Meghan that readers slammed as hateful and sexist. The backlash got so big that Britain's press watchdog later ruled against the piece, and the whole mess turned into a major embarrassment for the paper. Clarkson later tried to walk it back with a public apology, saying he was sorry from the soles of his feet to the hair on his head. But by then, many people felt the damage was already done. That episode became one of the clearest examples of how criticism around Meghan can get way too ugly, way too fast. Tina Brown came at Meghan from a different angle, but her words were still brutal. The veteran journalist and Palace Papers author said Harry seemed heavily under Meghan's influence and argued that Meghan's judgment had led them into one bad move after another. Brown's core point was that Meghan appeared convinced she had the formula for a much bigger future, but in Brown's view, that promise never really landed. She also claimed Meghan kept chasing expert advice, only to brush it aside when it stopped matching her plan. That is what made Brown's criticism hit so hard. It was not just about one moment or one interview. She was basically saying Meghan's instincts kept steering the whole thing off track. Candace Owens added even more heat, and nobody expected her to hold back. After Harry and Meghan left royal life and moved to the United States, Owens framed it as Harry being cut off from his family rather than freed from pressure. Then came the jab that spread fast online. "Dear Prince Harry, Meghan Markle is not the victim." That line was built for drama, and it did exactly what it was meant to do. Howard Stern was just as blunt when he weighed in on their Netflix series. Stern said he could not understand how Harry and Meghan kept asking for privacy while also putting so much of their lives into huge media projects. Then he dropped the line people kept repeating, comparing them to the Kardashians, just without the fun. Quick, sharp, and straight to the point. Wendy Williams came at the story from a more emotional angle, even though the shade was still there. Wendy openly backed Thomas Markle and said Meghan might one day regret keeping her father out of her children's lives. She pointed out that he was older, dealing with health problems, and still had grandchildren he barely knew. Her message was simple: time keeps moving, and family wounds can get harder to fix the longer they sit. Simi Garawal also weighed in after the Oprah interview, and her criticism was fierce. She later softened one of her harshest words, but she still made it clear she did not trust Meghan's version of events. Simi also pushed the idea that Meghan knew exactly what she was stepping into when she married into the royal family, which gave critics another angle to run with. And finally, there is Trevor Engelson, Meghan's ex-husband, whose name always brings extra curiosity to the story. Trevor has mostly stayed quiet, but royal biographer Andrew Morton reopened that chapter and brought back old claims about how badly the marriage ended. One claim that stuck the most was that Meghan allegedly mailed her wedding ring back after just 2 years, with no warning and no closure. For critics, that detail fit the image they already had in mind. Now it is your turn. What do you really think about Meghan Markle after hearing all of this? Do you think these celebrities were calling it right, or do you think some of them took it way too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more royal drama, celebrity reactions, and wild headline moments. Hit that bell too, so you do not miss the next upload.